This is my Gomer Pyle version of the roof he had. How do you like that, huh? Let's fix that. Pretty out there. This is part of William B. Pond Recreation Area on the American River. And isn't it pretty? The guy's name was Pond, conveniently enough. And it is a pond that's actually an inlet kind of thing from the river, which actually flows right by it. Nice little breeding ground for the geese and stuff, and the ducks. But the guy's name was Pond, and so I met a lady in the parking lot when I parked in the car, and she saw a bumper sticker that I had on the car and commented on it. So we were talking for probably 15, 20 minutes. And I asked her who William Pond is, and she said that he was the guy who stopped Arden Way from going all the way through and across the river and to Folsom Boulevard, which is across the river over there. This road there's people at the bench, I don't want to get them, but the road comes out and stops over there, Arden Way, and the county had wanted to take it all the way across the river. And William B. Pond apparently had some sort of influence, and he envisioned this American River Parkway, so he somehow managed to convince them not to put the bridge across Arden Way and was able to preserve this, so they named this section of the river after him. I think he's dead, but I'm not sure when he died, but I'll see if I can find his obituary at least, and then I'll give you some more information about it when I do the editing on this. But this fence line right there, see that? That's actually a walkway, I shouldn't use walkway, it's a pathway tapered down there it's a handicap accessible fishing area. So if you're in a wheelchair, you can come and go fishing right there. After my little public service announcement in the last video about picking up your fishing line after you go fishing, probably would be a little difficult to enforce. It's beautiful down here. It's across the river from where we were in the last video, that when we were at Gristmill. It's across the river from there. This looks like a big breeding ground for Canadian geese, but boy, is it pretty. Come here, I'll show you. Isn't that pretty? It's not like we're out in the middle of nowhere. I mean, you can see houses over there across the river. Some big old herons flying over. I'm just going to go down here for a little bit, see what's down here. Looks pretty swampy, oh, look at that beautiful heron up there. Again, this is part of my American River. This is American River Parkway, and this is never been here before. This is pretty. I could totally come here more often. People bring their horses here too. There's a little pile of road apples there. It sure is pretty. And it's just absolutely beautiful weather today. It's just perfect. It's not too hot, not too cold. There's a bunch of people up at the picnic benches up there, and I want to go past them and up a ways to another section of the trail that I saw on the map that I have never been to. Somewhere up here, I'm not sure where exactly, it's in this direction, is a bridge, another bridge. Anybody home? Is a ground squirrel in there? Or a snake? I'm opting for ground squirrel, although that is a weird spot. Right in the middle of the trail. Okay, well, I think I found the right road to go to the bridge that I'm trying to find, but as you can clearly see, it's not very well traveled. Well, it might be well traveled, but not today, at this particular moment in time. Although there is a very attractive dumpster down there. I'm not sure why it's there. That's a cool old tree. Tailings. These are tailings. Oh, that's the other thing the lady told me. The William B. Pond, the pond part of the pond, used to be an old gravel pit for aggregate mining when they used to take these tailings out and grind them all up for, what do you call that? Aggregate gravel. And that whole section that's now the pond at the handicapped accessible ramp thing used to be tailings. They dug out and made gravel. It was a gravel pit. And now it's a pond. Okay, the bridge is still a little ways up to my left, to the over there somewhere. But I'm going to go down here where the kids are screaming, because this is it's called clay banks. And apparently there's clay banks down here and a lot of people. So we're going to go down here and see what's going on. Well, in the middle of the trail are shells that I'm assuming someone picked up and dropped. I don't think that they were living out here and somebody ate them. So we'll pick them up. There's a bunch. I'm not going to pick all of them up, but I mean, look at that. That's not bad, huh? That's kind of a big one, actually. Let's go down here and see what's down here. See, these are all mine tailings. When they used to come and mine the river for gold back in the day. Tailings everywhere. We're in that part of town. As you can see them across the river. Piles and piles of them. This is Clay Banks, part of William B. Pond Recreation Area. I'm not going to get the kid because there's kids down there, so I'm going to avoid the kids. Isn't that pretty? But you can see across the river, what do you call that? More mine tailings, and upriver a little bit, you can see through the trees the bridge that we're headed to. Look at that giant tree. Can you see that giant tree that fell over? Right there. Look how big around it is. It's been down for a while. Over there in the distance, you might be able to see the bridge we're headed to. But this is kind of cool. Let's go in here and do some poking around. Oh wow, this water feels so good. It feels so good. This is the kind of thing I'm looking for right here. See those little holes and stuff? That right there? Let's see if there's anything in any of those. It's more aggregate kind of mine tailing stuff, like we saw in Auburn on the Clementine Trail, just below the bridge, Forest Hill Bridge. There was a big old section of that, but that's the same stuff, just smaller pieces than the big cobbles. It's interesting how all the rocks kind of make little nests in the clay after a while of being rubbed around with the flow of the water. You know, I could get my hat wet now. Look at that tree. Hold on. Look at that red tree. Kind of stands out amongst all the other ones, doesn't it? I wonder what that is. Huh. Sorry, I didn't have my mic plugged in again when I looked at that red tree. So maybe we'll find it up here and I can point it out. Don't you love my saggy, look at my hat. My goofy hat's just being extra goofy today. Before I forget, I'm going to tell you about that lady and her husband's bench. I'm going to go by again and see if nobody's sitting there. I can show it to you, but her husband, Monte Blair, they called him Monty, died of, she said it was a frontal temporal dementia. I almost forgot. And she said that she donated his body to science at UC Davis. And because she didn't have anything to bury, and she didn't get back his cremated remains, the bench is where she goes when she wants to pay her respects to him. And a couple weeks ago, I think she said, was their anniversary. So she came down here. She comes down here a lot because she lives nearby to sit with her husband, Monty. Thought that was a cute story. Okay, I found the pathway to the bridge that I've been looking for. Lots of bikers because it's part of the American River Bike Trail. Here's another memorial bench. And yes, there are squirrelies. I've seen plenty already. Oh, it's Eppie's Great Race. Oh yeah. Back in the day, they used to do Eppie's Great Race. Oh, it's a 2-for-1. Huh. Here we are again. Jedediah Smith. You are her, it says. I don't want to be her. I want to be me. Unless her has more money, then I'll be her. Aha. Here you go. This is Harold Richey and his bicycle bridge that we're going to go over. And that kind of tells you about him a little bit. Commitment to preservation of the parkway. 1987. Okay. There's some kind of treasure down there. Somebody's old tent or something. Let's see. I just had a big old law enforcement Suburban go by me onto a bicycle-only bridge. How does that work? There's a little more information about Mr. Bike Trail, is what he was known locally as. So this is part of the bridge. Harold Richey Bridge. No magnet fishing off this bridge for a couple reasons. First of all, it's too high above the water. Second of all, the fence is too high. And third, the fence is very attractive to magnets. Nice. Magnet would go and stick right there to it. Looking up that way, that's going north toward Auburn and the Clementine Trail, Forest Hill Bridge, all those areas where we hang out. And then, obviously, going that way is down toward Sacramento. So it looks like there's a couple little lookout, turnouts here. Turnouts. It's a bicycle bridge, but it's a couple little vista points, it looks like. So let's enjoy the vista for a second. Oh yeah, there you go. That right there is the Arden Rapids. And over there is where we were a minute ago at Claybanks. Little marshy area over there where the river should be, but isn't. Did you hear that noise? There he is. It's a red-headed woodpecker. I don't know if I can get him or not. Oh, he's not gonna. I don't even know if you can see him or not. If you can, good for you. But they have a very distinct call. That was not it. It's a red-headed woodpecker. Oh, we found something yummy. There are lots and lots of these red-headed woodpeckers around here. They almost talk to me. I want them to talk to me so you can hear what they sound like. They're so funny. There they go. Uh-oh.
Brilliant woodpecker, whoa!
Well, just as I was zooming in on the closest woodpecker that I've been able to see, somebody rode by on a bike and scared him off. Except he called him some other kind of woodpecker. I don't know what he said. I couldn't understand him. So, I don't know. To double check on that, and I will let you know. Look. Acorns. There's a little baby oak tree having little acorns. Well, I've opted out of. I made it to the end of the bridge, and there was a nice little picnic area there. And there's a bunch of people there, so I didn't take a video. But I've opted out of going down through the picnic area and down across there to go down to the river again, just because of time. Because it's getting late in the day, and I've got other stuff I got to get done. I've been down here for not here at the spot, but basically I've been playing on the river for almost 4 hours now. So. I do have other stuff I need to get done, and it's getting late in the day, and my feet are soggy. So, you know, this is a really nice place to come for like a picnic or something, to spend some time with family or whatever. It's really nice out here. It's way better than I thought it was going to be. Cool. So, that was my quick little adventure along, what is this called? William B. Pond. I can't remember what it was called. William B. Pond. William B. Pond, and what do you call that? A handicap accessible fishing pier down that way, which is where we're headed to go back. The bridge was back that way. And in the middle of the two was Clay Banks, where we also stopped, which was very cool. I really like Clay Banks. That was very cool. I bet in the summertime it's just a nightmare. But anyway. So, I'm going to sign off for now and trek my way back to the car, and if I see anything else interesting along the way, I'll chime back in and let you know. Otherwise, thanks for joining me today, and I'll talk to you later. This is the memorial bench for that lady's husband that I was telling you about. I might have told you about it, but if I didn't, here I am telling you about it. This guy was the husband of a lady I met in the parking lot, and she told me all of his story about how he died of a form of dementia, and she donated his body to science, and now they have this bench here for him, and she comes down here to remember him because there was nothing to bury. Kind of nice to know the background of one of these memorial benches and memorial tables that I see all the time.